Hello there, Pursuing Freedom friends. Thanks again, as always, for tuning in today. We've got a really great guest today. Her name is Allie Kirby, and she's with the New Era Group with Your Castle Real Estate in downtown Denver. I just recently met Allie through an organization that we're probably going to dig into a little bit, something amazing called Gals Who Give. And she was introduced to me by another lender friend. So thanks, Doug, for introducing us, Doug Fulton. Allie is a bundle of energy. And the first time I talked to her, I was like, okay, I was calling you about Gals Who Give, but now I need you on the podcast because her story is so interesting and she's crushing it in real estate. She's having a blast doing it. Her business is all referral based. She totally leads with value, which is what we're about here on Pursuing Freedom. And I'm not going to ruin this and spoil the interview by saying any more. So with no further ado, Allie, let's dig in. Tell us a little bit about your backstory, how, when, and why you got into real estate, and we'll just kind of go from there.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Erin, for having me. I'm super excited. How the heck did I get into real estate? I am originally from Prairie Village, Kansas. I'm a Jayhawk at heart, graduated from the University of Kansas with my degree in education. My whole life, I had wanted to be an elementary school teacher forever and always, and had the opportunity to teach both fourth and second grade. Was in love at the time, and my now husband Liam got the opportunity to move to Colorado Springs for a job, and we both just decided it was time for a change and time to get out of Kansas, and the mountains were calling, if you would say that for an instance. And in that kind of moment, I had also on the side danced my entire life, and that itch had not gone away, if you will. And I came to Denver with Liam in Colorado Springs and started dancing for the Nuggets. It was an incredible opportunity. And actually where I first met Doug Fulton as well. So that was really where I launched my family in Denver, if you will. And upon that, I was nannying for a family in Colorado and, wasn't sure if I wanted to be a teacher, wasn't sure what my next move was. And in that, those first couple of years in Denver was learning about the expense of life and living on my own and paying my own bills. And there was a lot of learning and a lot of struggle, and I did not have a lot of money. And in that, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, I had the opportunity to become an assistant for Lisa Muchler. She was a mega agent at the time, and actually her daughter is one of my dearest friends, Alex. And so I went to work for her. I had nannied for 2 years. I needed a change. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. And I was like, shoot, let's go assist this lady. Real estate seems cool. I love Lisa. Let's try something new. And I loved it. I loved the back end of it. I loved setting up open houses. I loved delivering gifts to her clients. There was a Christmas, I literally took coffee mugs around with hot cocoa and candy canes, and I had a blast. I'm in my car by myself, meeting people. And that's where it all started, is I realized, you know what, I think I can do this on my own. I'm going to get my license. And so that's really where it all began. So yeah, that's pretty much.
We never talked about this, but it's making me laugh because I know we were chatting about this earlier, but I also was a teacher before I got into the lending world.
Nice.
And I've always felt that educator inside of me, first and foremost, is a great precursor to this industry because we do have to educate so much. And
yes,
I really feel that clients appreciate when you take that educational approach to buying a home, because sometimes I think we forget in our business that we have a lingo that becomes our new and normal language that is completely foreign to most folks that are coming around to buy a home. And so when you can slow down and explain things in layman's terms and make sure that they understand the contract and the terms and all that kind of stuff, I just think that it gives our clients a feeling of safety and security, right?
100%.
And totally, like nanny, loved kids, the whole thing, and fell into it. So it's funny how we have very parallel.
That's awesome.
Entries to this business. So what year was that you got into the real estate business as an
assistant?
So
2014. Yeah, okay. 2014.
And then how long before you went out on your own?
So I started with Lisa, and I started at that brokerage for a couple months and really struggled. I mean, I ended up hating real estate for a while. I think that the most beautiful piece of this business and the worst part about it is you can cultivate it however you want. You can market however you want. You can do whatever you want. You can video. You can pay for leads. You cannot pay for leads. And being, diving into that water was so scary, and I was doing everything. I was maxing myself out. I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel authentic. I wasn't staying true to who I was. And it was uncomfortable because I was trying to please my coaches at the brokerage, and I wanted to hear "Yay, Allie" from them, but there was no yaying Allie by myself. I wasn't even cheering myself on. And I think I realized it was time for a change. And another good friend of mine, again, I've been surrounded by the most wonderful people, Jaden Hansen, introduced me to John Stegner at the New Era Group. And Jaden had been on me for quite some time to join him and come work where he was. And I just wasn't ready to do it because I also felt like I had a learning curve to learn. There was so much I didn't know, and I was almost embarrassed in a way. I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough for that group. I don't think I'm doing enough production, and I don't think they're even going to be interested in me. But the second I sat down with John, he was on my team, and he was supporting me and there for me and encouraging me through all my crazy ideas that I had. And I'm very, very much like you and I discussed earlier, just delivering cookies, celebrating engagements, sending flowers when a pet passes away, everything happening in the client's home. Like, I love everything flowery about the idea of home. And that's what I wanted to do. And it wasn't encouraged where I was, and I had to find the people that would encourage it, and also just know that it was okay to be myself. And when you are yourself, you're going to see the success and be able to really help people in the best way that you can, which is most important. So, yeah.
No, I agree 100%. No, I love it. I agree 100%. I also love how you said that you can cultivate it however you want, and how that can be a trap for you. And also it's like a blessing and a curse, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've been talking a lot about with my friends in the real estate industry recently is this idea that we are so lucky to be in the driver's seat of our future. And once you've been in the business and you do figure out who you are and you realize that you can be authentically you, I feel like there's a reality to the idea that you're never just going to go out of business, right? Like, your business might have ebbs and flows, ups and downs, your personal life, good days, bad days, whatever. We all have good months, bad months. But at the end of the day, we are in the driver's seat, and we can do what we want with this business. But the way that it clicks and the way that we see people having the best success is when they are being authentic to who they are, what they're passionate about, what they love, who they enjoy, all that kind of stuff. One question I have for you is that you mentioned that when you went over to the New Era Group, that John and everybody else there were super supportive, and you said that all my crazy ideas and all that kind of thing, and talking about how it can be a curse and a blessing to have, so many options on how we go about growing our business. How did you go about harnessing all that and harnessing all the energy and all the ideas and creating some kind of focus that resulted in a consistent business that you now are enjoying?
Great question. I think one of the biggest things that you have to not be afraid of in this industry is trial and error, and tracking that has been huge for me. I really, really wanted to get into video. And again, I was terrified to put myself on film and educate people. That was my first, I'll never forget it. I had one of my clients that just closed, Chelsea Corpenning, came over to our apartment and filmed this series of first-time home buyers step. And I launched a video each week about each step of the process, literally breaking down, hey, you're going to take earnest money to this person, and it's going to be cash, and it's coming out of your bank account. Just breaking all of that down. But what was terrifying was putting myself out on camera. Here I am, 2 years in the industry. I am no professional in my mind, right? Who am I to tell people how a real estate transaction works? I've only done so many deals, but it changed my business to not be afraid. And I also branded myself. I wanted to create a clean image that stuck with everything I was doing, and it's just my signature with a circle, and I have it on my email signature. You know, I obviously use the Your Castle and New Era logos as well, but there's something to be said about, you know, my clients are seeing me. They're not going to the Your Castle office. They're not going to the New Era group coffee meetings and things like that. And I think kind of testing the branding, trying to go out on my own and really just take the time to cultivate content that was not only relatable, but kind, you know, letting people know, hey, guess what? Nobody else is taught how to buy a home. So here I am, and I'm going to tell you the steps of how to buy a home. And it makes breaking that conversation of wanting to purchase a home or sell your first home 10 times easier. You know, half of my business is through Instagram and referrals from friends in Kansas, sending my profile to other people, and people are able to see that video and see how I operate in terms of breaking it down into, you know, easy terms and not our industry terms, I guess. So yeah, a lot of trial and error of figuring that piece out. So, and not being afraid to put yourself out there and track the results as well has been really helpful. So yeah.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you covered a lot there that would bring up a lot of questions for folks that want to be doing what you're doing and getting those kinds of results. So one of my first questions is, in terms of video, what platforms are you posting video? Are you doing it on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube? Or tell me.
Yeah, primarily Instagram and Facebook. YouTube for me was not, I would always sync it to YouTube, but it's not my primary resource. I've never seen any engagement as much as I have from Instagram and Facebook. And really, if I'm posting a video, it's going to all three sites, and most of the videos that are on my Facebook are being embedded into YouTube and then uploaded to Facebook, and then also to my website, just so there's the landing page there as well. So yeah, that's primarily what I use, but Instagram has been number one for everything. So yeah.
With video, I mean, you mentioned how you got started with the pre-recorded videos of the how-to from the whole process. Are you currently doing a combination of pre-recorded videos and live? And
yes.
And how do you determine like how to mix that up? Because I mean, I can't tell you how many agents, and also, by the way, myself, it seems to always be on my to-do list, is like, do more video. I've signed up for BombBomb, and then am I using it? Like, how do you schedule it out, and how do you determine what to put out there?
Exactly, that is scheduling it out. I mean, I sat today with my coach and said, okay, by next Tuesday, my content needs to be ready to post. I'm going to start a new highlight tab on my Instagram and call it a series of Tuesday tips. So, you know, this Saturday, I'm going to have my husband film me, make sure it's everything, making sure your lighting is right, that I have an outfit picked out. Like it's just as a producer would, you know, schedule a filming, it takes work and it takes effort to actually say, okay, these 2 hours, I'm going to crank out this. I'm going to write my content and try to have it as scripted, but just knowing what I'm knowing the point I'm trying to get across. So I'm not just rambling on like a Facebook Live, right? I want it to be pertinent. I want it to be quick and digestible is the biggest thing. So, yeah, just scheduling. I literally have a calendar that I write everything out. And then one really big thing I'm even struggling with is how to cover all topics, right? Because real estate has a lot of topics. We could ramble on about our current market. We could be specific about the process, or go into lending, or talk about interior design or different neighborhoods in Colorado. We could talk about a lifestyle. So learning how to cover all of that has been one thing that I have struggled with, is what do people want to hear? But it's, again, going back to trial and error. You're not going to know until you put it out there. So you might as well film it, put it out there, see how people react, and then go from there. I did a series of my favorite coffee shops in Denver and just related it to the fact that every conversation I usually have with a first-time client is at a coffee shop. And here's the top 5 that I have. Go check out these neighborhoods. We did some animation on the side, and people loved it because it's not just about where your home is, but it's what's located around there. And if you can walk to a coffee shop. So it was a little bit different direction. And since talking about the lifestyle. And it just made real estate a little bit more fun for me, that it wasn't so data driven. It was really celebrating colorful Colorado in a sense. So yeah.
Cool. And then you mentioned your coach. So who is your coach?
I have two right now. I have what I like to call a lifestyle coach. Her name is Teresa Coltrane, and she is unbelievable, but her whole message and process is balance. And earlier this year, last December, I just had a baby. He's going to be one, December 21st. So at the beginning, January, February, 2 weeks after I had Royce, I was showing a home to two of our best friends, and I had to get out of the house. That's how I operate. But as soon as I did that showing, there was this mom guilt. And I was like, oh my God, am I in trouble? Like, should I be at home with Royce? And here I am loving my career, and I want to help my friends out. I don't want somebody else to go show them that beautiful home in Wash Park. Like, I want to be the one to do it. And she has really dialed in that I can do it all. She coaches me through that, because I think as a mother, there is this sense of being the home manager in a way, and getting him to bed on time, and getting him up, and feeding him, and educating him, and balancing motherhood with my career is something I really wanted to dial in quickly, so I didn't lose my mind, because there were some losing my mind moments earlier this year, and I needed a coach. So she really helps me. She keeps me accountable. Like, I'm going to touch in with her on Sunday, and she's going to go, hey, did you film your videos for Tuesday? And it just motivates me to get my SHIT done.
Yeah.
And then my second coach, I actually just started him. He's in his MAPS training for Keller Williams, and his name is Tyson. But he approached me and just said he needed to get practice hours in. And we had our first 30-minute session Monday. And it changed my life already. Like, we just sat there and broke down numbers, and I went, holy cow, okay, I need to be making a lot more phone calls, a lot more touches if I really want to meet my goal for 2019. So I think, the coaches have changed my life, and it makes me giggle, because when I was first in the industry, this is the first year I've had coaches. I was like, why the hell do I not have coaches? You have coaches in everything. If you're in dance, there's a coach. Yeah. Soccer, you have a coach. Why did I think all of a sudden the education and accountability needed to stop? And to anybody out there on the verge of thinking whether they should hire a coach or get in some kind of training, do it.
Yep, 100%. I agree completely. I've always had coaches. I shouldn't say that. When I was flat broke and out of money and riding my bike to a meeting because I didn't have any money for gas, I didn't have a coach. Shocker. I was trying to wing it. And it's like, you can't wing it in this business. You need accountability. You need coaching, mentoring. You need friends, colleagues that you can bounce ideas with, therapy for.
Yep. Oh, and Teresa is very much the therapist. There's a good 10 to 15 minutes at the beginning of every session where sometimes you just got to get it all out, and then we focus. So
How did you find her?
I actually found her through another friend. I went to an event at a friend's house, and she was there speaking, doing like a little manifestation kind of workshop. And we started chatting afterwards and hit it off. And she does a 1 hour kind of discovery call to see if it's a good fit. And I think it was, for me, being the flowery, happy person that I am, I was really afraid of just having like an in-your-face real estate coach and make all those calls. And it's got to be about the numbers and the results and And it is about that. But for me, my struggle was balance. I can't say no to clients, and I needed to say no, at certain times, or know when to say no. And just having her to be there to really bounce ideas on how to time block better and where my pain points are and things like that have been invaluable. So
it's interesting you just mentioned saying no, because I just had this conversation this morning. Have you ever read the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller?
Yes, I have.
So I'm rereading it right now, and I'm obsessed with it. I love how he talks about how when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And so be careful not to say yes to things that aren't in alignment with your one thing or with your primary purpose or whatever, because ultimately, if you're saying yes to a bunch of things, you're saying no to potentially your purpose, your goal, whatever. And that's a really big struggle for me also, because I am a yes person and I want to be helping everybody and doing everything and be an awesome mom. And I want to have time for exercise and I want to eat right and cook dinner and have a home that's nice and all these things. And it's like, oh my God, eventually you're going to burn out. So I'm practicing saying no. And it's been very liberating, you know? Yes. And finding that clarity about what is your one thing and what is working for you. What do you enjoy? What are you good at? So yeah, that's really powerful. So I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about how you started building your brand. And I'm just curious, is that something that you also have been doing on your own, or have you had some support in the marketing realm of designing your brand and getting it out there?
Great question. Again, I have been so blessed to be surrounded by some of the most giving and talented individuals. When I first thought about, okay, I want to make a logo, one of our best friends who stood in our wedding, Bobby Windauer, is a graphic designer. And, you know, we happened to be out one night and I was like, I really want to do something. He's like, just send me some ideas. Like, what about your signature? And I literally wrote my signature, sent a picture of it to him. He came up with a couple images and that was that, you know. And I think it's so important to rely on who you have in your life, because he's also one of my biggest, you know, cheerleaders and I'm his. And I think that I know he has my best interest at heart, and everybody that has helped me. Another dear friend helping me with my videos, Chelsea Corpenny, she's a great friend. Her boyfriend is a great friend, and they are just good people, and I love them. There's a lot of love in my business. I mean, if you're in, like, you're getting a lot of love all the time, so get over it, kind of thing, right?
Get ready, buckle up.
Yeah. So I think that it's kind of funny because I know a lot of people, and people reach out. They're like, who did your video? I'm like, my best friend Chelsea, you know, she's amazing. Go check her out. Or, you know, Bobby did this and he's awesome. And I think I've just been so fortunate to cultivate some really awesome kick-ass relationships with, you know, it's not just how they help me, but I want to know how I can help them too and how I can support their business. You know, he made my logo. I am going to blast his stuff everywhere. I sent him multiple clients as often as I can. And same with Chelsea and just as, you know, we try to get referrals from our friends and family, like I should be doing the same thing. And that's kind of where it all stemmed from, if that answers that question. Is just,
well, I mean, I knew I liked you when I first met you. I didn't know I was going to love you, but I always say love. So we joke that our brand is love, and that it's love each other, love our clients, love our colleagues. And I agree. It's like, you know, once you get into the family, you're in the family. Yes. You like it or not, you're stuck with it. So, awesome. So in terms of some of the things that you mentioned about, I mean, I really want to keep coming back to this because I often feel like I'm a little bit confused. I'm kind of winging it with the social media stuff. And I know there's a lot of agents out there that feel the same way, that are feeling kind of stuck. Like, I know I need to do this, or I know I need to do that. And maybe they feel like they're shooting all over themselves. Like, I should do this, I should do that. But then we get stuck because we don't know exactly how to do it effectively. So in terms of, you mentioned something about like, okay, I'm going to create a highlight on Instagram. And I happen to know what that is. It's where on your page, there's the little circles where you have topics, right? And if you click on that, you can see different like things that fall under that umbrella. So did you also get help for the social media stuff, or do you outsource that, or did you learn it yourself?
Great question. Another great friend, Natalie Euling, she kicks ass on Instagram. She's a fitness instructor. She has created her own workout called New Fit. And actually, I was I had the opportunity to dance for the Denver Broncos. My second season with them, she came in from New York and was just going to train us. She was training us. She walked in. I mean, she is all female power all day, every day. And the two of us hit it off. She's one of my dearest friends. She just had a baby. You know, we're talking about mom entrepreneurship all the time and what the hell we're doing. But She was the one who told me to make a website, to brand myself, that this is the way the future is going. And I'm like sitting there starry-eyed, just like, teach me all your ways. You know, I had no idea what I was doing. We literally sat at coffee, and then her and I created this movement series and workout, you know, weekend. And it was a blast. And I think like, it's okay to wing it to a certain degree, because that's what I did. It's trial and error. It's going, okay, Natalie, you told me to make a website. Okay, here's my logo. What do you think? All right, now I'm going to put my website together and throw it up on Squarespace. Let's do this. And then I started making those videos, and really, she has taught me so much. And just in terms of like even where to buy icons for the little highlight pictures on Instagram, and how to, you know, space things properly in your message on the body of your text and whatnot. And really, she's just been a friend through it all. And she, go check out our new fit class if you're in Denver. She kicks ass and she'll kick your butt. But yeah, she guided me and really just pushed me and challenged me. And I was like, all right, I think I can do that. Let's try it. So that was that. And a lot of it is also just copying. That's terrible to say, but oh, this really cool restaurant just used this neat new app, how to scroll, and we're going to try this out. I'm like, let's download that and see if I can use that, right? Or a lot of times it'll just be an article that I find on Westword or whatever, and it's interesting and it's pertinent. How do I share that message in that moment? And it's not planned on my social media calendar, but I think other people might enjoy this. And again, staying authentic. If it feels good, do it. And in that same breath, I think if you don't want to do video, I encourage people not to do it. I think that's so important, because you may suck at video. Like, you may not be able to sit on your phone and talk about the house you're in and do all the things. So don't do it. You're probably great one-on-one. You might have amazing newsletter contact. You might be better as an investor specialist. Like, that's the thing, is if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, I enjoy doing the videos, so that's why I do it. But yes, it's work at the end of the day. But that's one thing I tell people. So many people, who does your videos? And I'm like, do you really want to do it? Do you enjoy being on camera? You know, do you enjoy sharing and the word enthusiastically and all this stuff? And if you don't do it. Find what speaks to you, I think is important too, because that's, you know, people are going to gravitate towards your energy no matter what, or you're just going to piss them off on the video that you're doing and you shouldn't have done it in the first place. So just listen to your gut sometimes.
Yeah, I say the exact same thing to friends of mine that get stressed out about not being able to do this, that, or the other thing. One of the best advice that I ever received from my coach was this idea they call the triad of awesomeness. And it's basically two circles side by side intersecting, another circle underneath intersecting, and in the middle there's a little triangle. And those circles represent, what are you good at? What do you enjoy? And what ultimately is effective? What's helping you grow your business? And when you're in alignment with all three of those things, you're in the little triangle where all three circles overlap, and you're doing what you're good at, what you enjoy, and what is growing your business, what's working for you. And the problem is that so many people, it comes right back to what you said in the beginning of the conversation about, we can cultivate it however we want, and that can be a blessing and a curse, because there's so many things that we could be doing to grow our business. And ultimately, we might think, well, we should, because that's what they say to do, but we don't enjoy it, or we're not good at it. So ultimately it's not effective. It's not going to help you grow your business if it doesn't fall 100%. In that triangle. So I loved that advice from my coach, Carl White, who's with the Mortgage Marketing Animals. So if you're a lender and you're listening, those guys are amazing and really help with finding that focus, finding your 20%,
right?
You 80% of your results, and your 20% is going to be totally different from the person next to you.
Totally.
Stop comparing yourself, figure out what you enjoy, what you're good at, and what works for you, and just do that, and you'll be fine. Everyone, that's the thing about this podcast that's so beautiful, is everyone's story is so unique. And there's been plenty of guests on this show that don't do video and are still rocking it in their life, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So, so I want to circle back to something I talked about in the introduction, which I'm really excited about and really fascinated by, and that's Gals Who Give. And I know that you're launching a chapter of something called Gals Who Give in Denver, or you've already launched it. and that it's on the heels of a group called Guys Who Give. So could
Yes.
you share a little bit about your background and how you got that off the ground, and how
Absolutely.
Allie's been helping me start the same thing up in Winter Park so that we can copy this concept, because it's just such a beautiful and wonderful idea. So go ahead and share with that.
Yeah, so actually, Doug Fulton, who we met through, and my husband, and actually, okay, I'm going to rewind. One of my best friends, Angela Wood, also a Denver Broncos cheerleader with me back in the day, our significant others were going to Guys Who Give with Doug Fulton, and, you know, I just kept seeing them going to this event, and I'm like, what the hell? Why isn't there one for the ladies? Like, we could crush it. We know we're much more organized, and we can get this off the ground, right? No, that's terrible. But another thing is Angela and I had, being on Broncos, been so integrated into the community in terms of philanthropy with volunteering at Children's Hospital and so many things that were just on our agenda every week. And once we were off that team, it wasn't assigned to us, right? And we've both been a little bit lost in philanthropy in Denver and what we can really do. And not to get too political, but I think with what's going on in our world right now, a big thing I keep coming home to, and Angela and I have talked about, is change starts where we are and in our communities. And it is so important that we help each other and educate one another. And that's really why we started it. Doug connected us with Justin Livingston, who started Guys Who Give up in Longmont, that chapter. So there's chapters in different counties. And we hit him up and we were like, we want to start the Denver County chapter. What does that look like? Help us. What are we going to do? And so, I mean, that was pretty much it, and really hit the ground running. We had a great turnout at our first event. We had over 47 women, I think, attend. We had 12 online donations from people who couldn't make it. And it was really special to just know that we were doing something.
What is it?
Drinking wine. Oh, yeah. Let me actually explain what it is. That's a great idea. Sorry about that. Like, what is she talking about? Okay, it's called Gals Who Give. So essentially the whole concept is you get together 4 times out of the year, so once a quarter, and it's a $400 commitment for the year. So you're bringing a $100 check to every meeting. And essentially you meet at the same place. We meet on Tuesdays, the gentlemen meet on Wednesdays, but anybody can come. You can bring whomever you wish. And what you bring is you bring your $100 check, you bring a nonprofit, and it needs to be a Denver County 501c3 vetted nonprofit. And you drop that into a hat. You drink wine, you meet new people, you talk a lot, you have a good time, and then we kind of bring it in. We pull 3 names out of a hat, 3 of those nonprofits that were nominated, and then those 3 women that nominated those nonprofits speak to the group really briefly from the heart and just educate everybody what these nonprofits are doing in Denver County. After that part, everybody gets to vote, and then everybody writes their checks. We announce the winner, and we give that money to the winning recipient. So it's really
so for the listeners, in case you didn't hear what she said before, their first event had 47 women show up giving $100. That was a $4,700 donation to one charity in one evening. And all everybody did was get together, have a good time, make new friends, and bring $100. It's incredible. And I'm pretty sure, I'm probably going to butcher this, but I swear when I heard about the Guys Who Give from Doug, and then he introduced me to Allie, who was starting Gals Who Give, and I thought to myself, I want to do this in Grand County where I am. I think that Doug said his $400 in the last year was contributed to something like $30,000 going to charity in 1 year, which is absolutely incredible.
Yep.
So if you're listening and you're in the Denver metro area, you definitely need to get in touch with Allie Kirby and find out when the next event is, and spread the word, and bring as many women as you can. Because think about this, if you we get 100 women together, and that's $10,000 in one donation. That's incredible.
That's our goal. Yeah.
Grand County, you probably have already heard me shouting to the mountains. I'm super excited, and our first event is going to be this coming Thursday, which is December 13th. So by the time people listen to this, it'll probably be have happened. But we're really excited to launch it. There's tons of women that are excited to be a part of it. And we're really looking forward to spreading this idea as far as it can go, because, you know, we can, with like what you said, we can do a little and make a huge impact, and
100%.
collectively we can do so much. So I'm just so excited to have met you, and I love what you're doing. So in case someone wants to get in touch with you, if they're looking to buy or sell in Denver, or if they just want to collaborate with you or buy you drinks and learn about social media from you, which, by the way, I'm going to be doing. So just like get ready. I'm coming to Denver and I'm buying you glasses of wine so that you can look at my Instagram and critique it. Okay.
Got you.
So how do folks get in touch with you, Allie?
Any way they want. I have a cell phone number. I have an email. They can DM me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
And what's your Instagram handle?
Allie.Kirby. So it's ALLIE.KIRBY.
Okay. And then what's your website?
My website's just my name, www.alliekirby.com, and both my handles are on there as well. So feel free to check it out.
Awesome. Well, Allie, I am so glad to have had you on the show. And I said it earlier, but I'm really blown away by you. And I feel this like amazing connection, and I'm super excited for the beginning of a new friendship. I love the authenticity and the value that you bring, not only to this interview, but also to your business and your life. And it's no wonder you're experiencing such great success. So I just thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you again soon.
Thank you, Erin. This has been awesome.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in today. And as always, I would love it if you would subscribe and leave a review on the podcast, on the iTunes podcast, because it helps us continue to attract amazing guests like Allie and help folks find this great content, inspiration, motivation. We're all getting really excited for 2019 to be the best year ever.
Yes.
Have a great day, everybody. I appreciate you all.